Hey YouTube, Kira Twig here, bringing you guys my Gagaga Yugioh deck profile for August 2018. Actually, I wanted to give you guys this deck profile for quite some time now. I actually have had a couple requests on a Gagaga deck profile for, I think it has been a couple years, but I actually never really got around to it. There are other deck profiles I wanted to do, but I know it's kind of late now with link format being a thing and maybe the Gagaga deck just not being as strong as it was or could have been, back during the time when, we didn't have the extra monster zone and we weren't as limited to our exceed summons. But I've tried to figure out a way to make the link mechanic work with the deck as best as I could and just see what you can do with the full potential of the deck as a whole and the different amount of exceed monsters you have. So let's go ahead and get started with the deck profile. So to start off, your main monster obviously is Gagaga Magician. I run 3 of this card. For those of you who don't know, the whole Gagaga mechanic revolves around, adjusting the levels of your Gagaga monsters and just filling up the field so you can get off different ranked exceed summons depending on what you want to make the rank. And Gagaga Magician is your main monster that you use for that. Once per turn, you can declare a level from 1 to 8. This card becomes that level until the end phase. You can only control one face-up Gagaga Magician, and this card cannot be used as a synchro material. So they really strained that synchro part when Exceed first came out because they were pushing the Exceed mechanic. But this effect allows you to range Gagaga Magician between those 8 levels. And then there are also other monsters that can adjust and help Gagaga Magician with that effect. But most of the time, your main Exceed that you want to go for is, his original level, which is 4, which I find to be the most consistent and best, Exceed rank out there for sure. But a definite 3 of in the deck, very important for a lot of your plays as well. And perfect backup to Gagaga Magician is Gaga Girl. Now I have 3 of these in here just because the one card I do not run is Gagaga Mancer. I don't have any of that card. Couldn't find any, but I'll show after the monsters are done what I take out to add in a couple Gagaga Mancers just to help with some of the special summons for the deck. But Gagaga Girl, you can target a face-up Gagaga Magician you control. This card's level becomes the level of that monster, and an Exceed monster that was Exceed summoned using only this card and other Gagaga monsters as Exceed material gains this effect. When it is Exceed summoned, you can target one special summon monster your opponent control. Its attack becomes 0. So making it so you have a very powerful monster on your opponent's side of the field. If you use this and Gagaga Magician for that play basically, then you have the option to just swing over that monster with a very powerful Exceed monster you make, and then they'll be taking a pretty good amount of damage. It's just a great additional Exceed effect that you add on to your Exceed monster that you make. But thinking about dropping down the number to 2, like I said, just because if you don't open up Gagaga Magician and you have Gagaga Girl, she doesn't really do that much for you, and then you have to rely on, just hopefully opening up another Gagaga Girl or, just drawing into Gagaga Magician so you can have something to go off on your plays. And I also run 3 Gagaga Clerk. Now, I run Clerk mostly because of the fact that we do have link monsters now. If you control a Gagaga monster other than Gagaga Clerk, you can special summon this card from your hand. Now, if you do open up Gagaga Girl and Clerk, you at least have a link summon play that you could potentially go for with this card and Gagaga Girl. Before, the level adjustments wouldn't work and you would just be stuck with this and, let's say, random level monster that you couldn't make an Exceed with on the field. So this option for Gagaga Clerk at least allows you to go into a different summon with an easy special summon, one that doesn't take up your normal summon as well, which is why I run 3 of this. But once again, for the Mancer, she's a potential, down to 2 card. But if you want to run more of a link extra deck as well with this, I only have, I think, about 4 to 5 link monsters in the extra deck for this deck profile. If you want to add more, then I would keep her a potential 3 just so you can have those link options available for you for easy summon plays. And I also have 3 Gagaga Child in for the lineup. Now, I would not run 3 of this. I love the card. Probably one of my favorites, aside from Gagaga Magician in the deck. Just because I only have 1 Gagaga Sister when we get to her, but I would run 2 Child and 2 Sister, just to help benefit from both of their plays. But for Gagaga Child, if you control a Gagaga monster other than Child, you can special summon this card from your hand. When you do, you can target 1 Gagaga monster you control with a different level than this card. This card's level becomes the level of that monster you control, and you cannot conduct your battle battle phase the turn, you activate this effect. So the fact that you cannot conduct your battle phase means you really want to rely on, the effect of the monster you're going to make with the two Gagaga monsters you have on the field and this card. It's very good, easy special summon. Once again, if Gagaga Magician takes up your normal summon, you want to have other monsters on the field that can basically, be easy to special summon onto the field, so you don't have to, wait another turn or just rely on defense until you can get another monster on the field, which makes these cards very helpful. And then speaking of Gagaga Sister, love her for the fact that she can search out spell and traps. When it's normal summon, you can add one Gagaga spell or trap from your deck to your hand. You can target one other Gagaga monster you control. The levels of that monster and this become their combined current levels until the end of this turn. You only use the effect of Gagaga Sister once per turn. Now, with Child and Sister being both 2 level 2s, you can have a level 4 Exceed Summon right then and there on the field with these 2 cards if you open them up. All you have to do is control another Gagaga monster, and Sister can search out a Gagaga spell or trap, meaning I kept the monster count pretty low just because of the search options you can have for your spell and traps, obviously, which can help very much with your plays you want to go for. But like I said, I would jump up the Gagaga Sister count to 2. I know my monster counts are all over the place with this deck profile just because I couldn't grab the right ratios I wanted, but 2 of her and 2 Child definitely do seem to be the best numbers for sure. If I wanted to drop down the spell count, I may even bump up Sister to 3 just because she definitely does help with that search effect with this card. And I also run 2 Gangagardna. Now this card's great just for stall defensively. When your opponent control monster declares a direct attack, you can special summon this card from your hand, and when this card is targeted for an attack, you could discard 1 card. This card cannot be destroyed by that battle. So, like I said, good defensively, and it's also a warrior monster, which means it's a reinforcements of the army target as well. Plus, you have just easy Gagaga special summon come next turn. If your opponent can't get over the 2,000 defense, and then they just, end their turn, or, just rely on that. Might even thought of bumping it up to 3. I wanted to do a little more play testing to see, how the card worked out, which I did enjoy its overall play style, plus the fact that it was a level 4, just like Gaga Magician means you don't really have to rely on the level adjustments if you want to go for an Exceed Summon, and then you can just normal summon Gaga Magician out next turn, and then go from there. But I was, like I said, debating on what I wanted to do with this card and Gaga Magician. But moving on to the spells, I run 3 Gagaga Bolt. This spell card, if you control a Gagaga monster, you target 1 card on the field, destroy that target. It's a definite 3 of in the deck. It's very powerful. All the Gagaga monsters you run in the deck, and this card just being able to easily pop Pendulum Scales, extra deck monsters, you name it. All you have to do is have like Gagaga Sister or Gagaga Child. Even on the field, you even need Magician. You basically have access to all your monsters in your main deck, and this card can be very reliable for those pop effects. So definite 3 of. And it's not even a once per turn, remember that as well. So very strong there as well. I also run 3 Gagaga Tag. With this card, all Gagaga monsters you currently control gain 500 attack for each Gagaga monster you currently control until your next standby phase. You can only activate 1 Gagaga Tag per turn. So if you just really bump out the numbers and haven't really used any of them for your extra deck summons, unless you go for obviously Gagaga extra deck monsters, they can hit some pretty powerful numbers that can either kill off your opponent or at least do some heavy damage to them for sure. And also 3 Gagaga Wins. With this one, you special summon 1 Gagaga monster from your hand as a level 4 monster. Now you summon it as a level 4 monster, and it doesn't mean you can't rely on their own effects, because it doesn't negate their effects, so you can still adjust those monsters based on their own effects or other monster effects on the field. So remember that. It's just a very easy special summon for sure. And I also, for the 1-ups, I run 1 Gagaga Draw. You banish 3 Gagaga monsters from your graveyard to draw 2 cards. Just 1-of, because you have to have that Gagaga setup in the graveyard to get the draw off. But definitely helpful late game for sure if you've already gone through some Exceed plays and then you want to just rely on that draw power for potential cards you may need for future plays. And I also run 1 Gagaga Revenge. You target 1 Gagaga monster in your graveyard, special summon it, and equip it with this card. And when this card leaves the field, destroy the equipped monster. And when this card is sent to the graveyard because the equipped monster was used as an Exceed material, all Exceed monster you currently control gain 300 attack. So just another easy special summon. I run this along with Monster Reborn and Soul Charge as well. So you just want those special summon options so you can keep the field swarming going for sure. Also, one Gagaga back. With this, during a turn, a Gagaga monster you control was destroyed by battle and sent to the graveyard. You special summon from your graveyard as many monsters as possible that were destroyed by battle this turn in face-up defense, then take 600 damage for each monster special summoned by this effect. You can only activate one Gagaga back for turn. Now, it's a quick play spell card, which is great to rely on your opponent's turn for that one effect. And the 600 life points is pretty much worth it just to get back everything that might have been destroyed if you were playing defensively, like with Gangagardna, or just some set or defensive Gaga monsters. This card definitely can help for that. And the one-ofs are usually fine because those are the ones I end up searching with Gagaga Sister. The threes, I usually just end up drawing myself and using them based on their own effects. But for the non-Gagaga spells, two Scapegoats, this just really helps with the link plays that I can do with the deck to extend my Exceed plays as well once the arrows go out, and you just want to make some Exceed monsters that point to those arrows, obviously. And the one Reinforcements of the Army, this is to search out the Gangagardna. Just having that extra search definitely does help if I open up some of the other Gagaga monsters, plus the fact that I can special summon Gangagardna during my opponent's turn whenever they declare a direct attack. And also one Monster Reborn and one Soul Charge to finish off the spells. Aside from Gagaga back, you don't really use your life points too much, so easy special summons with this, and the same goes for the Monster Reborn. And then for the traps, I run 3 Gagaga Rush. Now this card, just for the burn damage against your opponent, can definitely help. When a face-up Gagaga monster you control is targeted by the effect of an opponent's monster, negate the effect of that opponent's monster, and if you do, destroy it, then inflict damage to your opponent equal to the destroyed monster's attack or defense in the graveyard, whichever is higher. Great defensive card for sure for your Gagaga monsters. And then basically, most of the time, like I said, when they're targeted by an effect, it happens a lot more often than you think, so definite 3 of, just because if there's like, you summon Gagagardna, and then they rely on an effect to destroy it during the battle phase if they can't get over it, you can activate this, and then just take care of that monster's problem, and then retaliate next turn with a stronger play. And also 2 Gagaga Shields. You target one face-up spellcaster type monster you control, equip it with this card up to twice per turn. It cannot be destroyed by battle or card effects. So just more protection with some of your spellcaster monsters that you run, which is the majority of the monsters in the main deck. So very, very helpful shield card as well. And then just for some of the generics, the one Bottomless Trap Hole, one Solemn Judgment, and one Solemn Warning. I ran Bottomless over Solemn Strike just because I run Trap Tricks with Felicia in the extra deck, so you have that search option available to you if you make that Exceed monster. And then moving on to the extra deck, I run one Gagaga Cowboy. Can't run a Gagaga deck and not have Gagaga Cowboy. He's one of your main ones you always go into just because he definitely does work with all the other Gagaga effects, which is great. And then just that burn damage can really, push for the game as well if you're very close to ending your opponent. And same goes for Gaga Samurai with the double attacks and just 2 level 4 monsters to make both of these. They're very easy, and like I said, you're more reliant on the rank 4 monsters in this deck for sure, but great Gaga monsters to rely on for the deck for sure. And then for bigger ones, one Big Eye and one number 23 Lancelot. Like I said, bigger Exceed plays if you can go for them with Gaga Girl and Gaga Magician. And then also one Heroic Champion Excalibur for the Gagaga Gardnas, if you can get them out fast enough for sure. And then the Rafflesia, like I said, as well. I also run one number 39 Utopia, and I don't have Lightning, but Utopia Ray would be the Utopia of the Lightning if you have it instead, just for, once again, strong Exceed plays, 5,000k attack against your opponent. And then Abyss Dweller, Tornado Dragon, Constellar, Ptolemy, M7 to finish off the Exceed monsters. Just generic good ones for sure. If you want to take out the Abyss Dweller, you can even put in Baguska instead as one of the rank 4s you can make. And then for the Link monsters, I run one Wee Witch Apprentice and one Mrs. Radiant. These two just, very easy arrows to make. Mrs. Radiant can be a target with the Scapegoats, and the Wee Witch, because a lot of your Gaga monsters are dark if you have them on the field. Like I said, with Clerk and Girl, an easy summon there to rely on. Clerk is an Earth monster, actually, so it'd be more with Child. Clerk you can rely on with Mrs. Radiant, though, and also Proxy Dragon, just to extend out your arrows as well. And then the one Akashic Magician, just 2 monsters of the same type except tokens, so another easy one to make. Plus, she is a spellcaster, so you can also use her with Gagaga Shield if you wish for extra link protection. But yeah, that is it for the deck profile. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Once again, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. And until next time, Kira Twig out.